Welcome back, guys, to another replay analysis of this one of MistaEast. Now, this is a special one, as you can see in the bottom right corner. If I can get back to Rocket League here, and it does not want to work for me. Come on, Rocket League. There we go. Now it works. Come on now. Come on now. MistaEast. It's a Rumble game. He said he's Champ 1 in Rumble. He's now Champ 2 in Rumble. But this was when he was Champ 1. And normally, he is Diamond 2 in Standard and Solo Standard. So, probably some good power-up usage in this game. Could have been a little RNG. We will find out. But he got his replay analyzed by going to patreon.com/Gibbs000. So, you can go there, check it out for replays, for coaching, for free play stuff, and for friends list stuff and all of that. So, go check it out. It helps me out, helps Gibbs it out. And that's more important, right? So, go check out the Patreon. But let's get this show on the road. And I love doing quirky or like different modes for replay analysis because it's just a lot of fun because we don't get to see it that often. So if you want to do one of those, it always makes me happier. So we got some Rumble here. Rumble's always a good time. So right off the kickoff, he grabs the boost, just throws this ball forward. And honestly, one of the most important things about Rumble and on the kickoff is you want to try and have the ball in your possession on their side of the field when the power-ups open up. Because as soon as they open up, there are chances where you can score immediately. So it's always good to get a really good kickoff off and have possession. Right here, there's still 3 seconds left. And obviously, like, if you can score without a power-up, that's fine too. But as the power-ups come up here, it's in the corner, which isn't the greatest spot in the world, but it's still not terrible. He gets a swapper, so that's not really going to do too much. He gets the boost on his thing. So one thing I like about this is normally if you have a swapper, you try and swap pretty immediately because it's not as impactful most of the time. Sorry, my phone is blasting off here. But he's the third man on rotation. He's the only one back. And a lot of people make that mistake of like, oh, I hate swapper. Even if I'm third man, I'm just going to swap with someone anyway. And then it's like, oh, crap, now it's a wide open net or a perfect counterattack opportunity. So I like that he holds this for a bit. See if he can control this. He doesn't control it that well while he's boosting. Your best bet is to just use handbrake like crazy when you are getting boosted like this. So he could have turned on this if he handbraked a little bit better, but he handbrakes a little late. A little hard to control. This swap is okay. It's not the best swap in the world. One thing I would have done is he swaps right here. And honestly, what I would have done was honestly just drive all the way up to the ceiling and then swap. Because then it takes that other player out of the game for a pretty long time. But instead here, now he's going to be there to be able to bump the goalies or just be in the way when he swaps. As you can see here, he's now in the way of Crispy, and he might get bumped. He doesn't, but that could have happened. So always got to be careful about that, but it's always better to waste, like, maybe another half second. Drive up to the ceiling, then swap, because it's probably going to waste a good 2 to 3 seconds at least for that player, and he'll be out of the play. So it's a net gain, generally. See if he can read this. Oh, just going a little too fast. Double haymaker from his team. We'll see these haymakers come out. Crispy, like, honestly, this isn't a great haymaker in general, because they don't go into the air, and this ball is never going to go in. Like, even if it's just one haymaker, that's not going to go in. You have to fly for those. And so let's see what the boost was like on his teammates. He was teamed up with Crispy as well in comms. So Crispy, he stayed on the ground. He had 0 boost. Makes a little bit of sense there. See the other one, Fatoka. He has 7 boosts, so I guess no one had boosts, so I guess it makes sense. But they both do it just a little bit too early, so it doesn't really work out. But generally, you want to get above that ball and just slam it home. But it doesn't happen there. Luckily, it goes in anyway. So I didn't even realize someone grappled here. So we see who grappled. Oh, it was just a panic grapple. Was this homies with the extra chromies? It was. And it looked really weird. Let's watch it from his point of view. It's always fun to see. Yeah, this is just, crap, I need to grapple right away because it might be bad. And this ball's already, like, inside him. And it did some terrible things to his exhaust pipe. But it is a goal. And sometimes those panic grapples don't pay off. Grapples can be really embarrassing, especially when you have, like, a really long one and you wind up own goaling. I had one of those yesterday. I was playing with Leaf, actually. And me and him both had some pretty embarrassing goals because of the grapple hook or embarrassing own goals. Moving on. Nice little back pass here by Crispy. I like that. Just setting it up for him. And he kind of just gets beat out because of the haymaker here, which, you know, is going to happen. Not a big deal. Now, one thing I would do here is look how long he's holding on to this overcharge, I think it's called. I can't remember. Disruptor for the booster charge. Like, just get rid of this right away. It actually benefits players a lot more often than not. And it's just not that useful of a power-up. Plus, the worst part about it is it doesn't recharge your new power-up ability right away. So you have to wait for it to do its whole duration, which is what, probably close to 5 seconds. So instead of waiting for 10 seconds, now you have to wait 15 for a new power-up. So it's like a double whammy. Right there, he finally throws it onto someone, which is good. Normally, I throw it on right away. The only thing you don't want to do is obviously throw it on a spikes or a magnet player. That's generally what you try not to do. But besides that, it's not that bad. It also helps if they're trying to boost starve you and they're about to pick up your boost. If you put it on them then, well, then they have a max of 100. They can't pick up your boost, and that can help too. If there's a guy trying to pester you, it's probably better to throw it on him so he can't boost starve you. Now he's got a magnet. Magnets are very important if it matters, but it does not. This 50-50 goes a little too good for the other team. It wasn't Crispy up on the wall. I thought it was Crispy. Oh, it should have been Crispy. Okay, Crispy just turned into the net, and they're both in the net now, which is a problem. It looked like Crispy was going to go up the wall there, but he doesn't. Not really his fault, because he didn't realize that this 50 would go this way. He was just trying to kind of rotate back. Let's see what Fatoka was doing. Fatoka should have went up the wall. He jumps off the wall instead. He had 100 boost. He could have just backed up and then lightly tapped us away, but a little bit of a panic play there where he jumps off the wall. Maybe not comfortable by going up for that, and it turns into a goal. So, it happens. 50-50s, man, are rough. Anyway, we'll go on. MistaEast will move forward into the kickoff here. Trying to defend the wall. Doesn't really need to. Should have help. And there it is. Fatoka with the help. He's got a grapple. Nice grapple there to just confuse them. One thing I like to do is do like a tap like that where like it almost seems like you messed up. And you wait just that extra half second when the other guy's going to start charging. And then you grapple and beat them to the ball. It's always a good surprise tool there. Nice bump there with the boot. Let's actually go over to Fatoka because I want to see what his boot options were. And if it was the appropriate play. Let's see. So we're going to watch it from here. Sees what's happening with the play. He's like barely using ball count. I'm not sure what he's doing with this. This just looks weird. I think he's just using the right analog stick. I think he basically had to boot that guy out of the way, though. He was probably going to make a play on the ball, or at least come close. Problem is he just shot it right at the other player, so that didn't really work out. My laundry's done. Hooray. MistaEast coming back around. He's got a plunger. Doesn't need it. Let's see what happened here because I kind of missed the play. So this gets bumped out. It goes all the way to Crispy. And, oh, wow, that actually is really lucky. So this is a risky play. When someone's on the grapple on the other side, it's a little bit of a risky play, like if they're close to it, because you know that you're going to get dunked on almost no matter what. But I like this play from Crispy because the grapple's coming from the right. So what you want to do is try and keep as much space like away from the grapple as possible, because then they will actually trail the ball for a while. That's only if you boom the ball pretty well, then they will still trail it. So he trails it a little bit, not even that much, but it makes it at least turn into a 50-50 from the side. And this is just a surprise, and honestly, just a whiff there. So he gets the free goal, but I like that play on that grapple. Knew he had just enough time to throw it to the left to force a 50-50 to the side instead of getting dunked on. Good play there by Crispy. All right, moving on. I thought my mic was not being picked up at first. I was like, oh, man, that would suck. But it is. A little bit slow getting back to his boost or going around for boost, but now he should just pick up some pads, which he's doing pretty well. He's got to be careful about this swap. Once again, he's that third man in rotation. Can't really do it like anything about this. He tries to defend it as best as he can. Wasn't really lined up to be behind the ball in front of the net. And sometimes in Rumble, you play it a little bit differently where you try and stay kind of guarding your net at all times for these surprise plays. It might not have mattered here, but he kind of hooks out to the left a little bit, shows an opening just a little bit, and that's what causes this goal to go in, but it happens. It's just in Rumble, you have to worry a little bit more about when you're third man, like sometimes playing further back, or making sure you're in the middle of the field and not always on the sides when you think a play is normally going to go to the sides because of those power-ups that can push it back to the mid so easily. Okay, he's got spikes. I'm not sure if I like this spike. Like, it's okay. Like, I think he wants to do a 50-50 with Chromies over here. And a spike is good for 50-50s because you will control the ball because you get a vulnerability of, what, like half a second or a second when you first put on spikes. So that's not a bad idea. But obviously, the boot comes in, so it kind of negates that. Like, it wouldn't have been terrible, but I think, honestly, like, if you 50-50 with someone anyway on the wall, you're still going to be bounced back, and you're not going to be able to fly all the way down and score a goal. So it's a little bit wasteful on the spike, unless you were really worried about them making a play out of this. But just a little bit wasteful. And obviously, the boot makes it way worse, but that's not really his fault. Just kind of happens. Nice little slow play there to make sure it goes to the side. He didn't really panic all that much, so that's good. All right, let's moving forward here. Haymaker to side, power hitter snipe. Ooh, I like it. I like this shot a lot. He actually goes low. Kind of has to, because, like, there's going to be players trying to pre-jump this save no matter what. So I like the idea. He almost gets it around them, but just barely doesn't. Gets 2 demos out of it, though. That is a good power hitter for sure. That should be a free goal. Crispy, crispy, crispy. All right, so the only thing that you have to do when you have a spike and you're going along the wall and going in front of the net, all you have to do is drive off the wall and then side flip. That's literally the only thing you have to do. So you drive off the wall, you side flip to the right. It's a free goal. You don't have to direct your car at all. You don't really have to do much. It's a very easy goal, but he just never side flips. Look at this. Just never side flips. I don't even think he jumped. Like, maybe he jumped, like, last second and thought he was still on the wall. No, he just never jumps. That's really unfortunate. Like, that's a free goal, and that's, like, one of the things, maybe someone that doesn't play Rumble a lot, just an easy side flip. You'll go sideways, and the ball will go right in. And also, like, you could air roll there, and it probably goes in as well. But a side flip's just a little bit quicker and a little bit more foolproof. But now, Magnet on the other side, and, oh, Chromies. Where are you going with that Magnet? Let's go over to Chromies real quick. I just want to see what happens here. All right, so Chromies, good idea using the Magnet there. Just try and pull him away from the net. The one thing I don't like is, like, look at this. You can see all 3 players. Like, let's count them here. He's got ball cam on. 1, 2, 3. You know it's a wide open net, and he decides to drive to the left. Like, what? Where are you going? I don't understand. Doesn't make a lot of sense here. Probably should just drove to the net. You might not have scored, but you at least, like, forced them to make a play. Instead, like, nothing really happens, and that's a really zoomed-in camera. But instead, you see Crispy's going to boom this out. He does so pretty well. Boot that 3rd player. There it is. I was waiting for that boot. Hoping his teammate would come up and follow that up. It could have been a free shot. But now it's way too late. Ooh, the swap and almost an own goal. That was a little scary. He's got 0 boost in the net, though. But I do like that play. He was actually using his right analog stick to try and find the player to boot. And that's probably one of the things that maybe a lot of players don't use normally is your right analog stick to look around. But in Rumble, it helps so much because when you lock onto something or a player, it's only based on where your camera is. So you have to make sure they're in view on your camera. It's not ball cam or anything like that. So it's definitely a lot more useful in Rumble than it is maybe in regular play. Like, obviously, pros use it a lot, but I feel like most of the player base does not use their right analog stick that often in regular play. But in Rumble, it is very, very useful. Ooh, the power hitters should be a finish. Nice. So normally, when I get a tornado, I normally just turn it on right away. So let's see how long he has this tornado. So he gets his tornado here. I understand why he wouldn't do it here, maybe because there's he has a chance to pass this out to the mid. But as soon as you're kind of away from the ball, like this right here, you should just use your tornado to just waste it. Because again, it's very similar to the disruptor where it's not very useful. And it has that, like, 5-second duration, and then you get a new power-up. So, usually, you just want to waste it. See how far away from the ball he is out of the play. Here's the time to use it. Now, it might have cost him a little bit later. Like, I think it would have ran out by the time he actually goes to score this ball. Yeah, like, it definitely would have ran out. And he would have been on his new power-up timer. So, that's always something to keep in mind. Like, when you get crappy power-ups, don't worry about, like, trying to save them for the right moment. Because you're better off just waiting those 15 seconds and getting a new power-up that's much better. And this is the easiest goal he'll ever score. I don't know what was going on here. Just everyone just left it wide open, so well done there. And they're up 4-2. All right, MistaEast, see what you got. The double kickoff. It actually worked out pretty well. Fatoka. Probably saying that terribly, but it winds up banking off him and turns into something at least. Oh, man. This does not feel like a champion game right now. Let's move over to Crispy. Another just complete whiff. That's 2 complete whiffs on defense. And this one is from Extra Chromies. He doesn't even side flip. He only used 1 jump. He could have side flipped that. Who knows what's going on there. But we'll go back to MistaEast. He's happy. He's celebrating. All right, next kickoff here. It's okay. I kind of threw it right at him, but he hit it so close to him that there was no momentum, which is nice of the player. All right, now we get that infamous when the power-ups spawn, where's the ball, and it's turned into blue half because MistaEast kind of gave away possession there by throwing it off the corner to the midfield. In Rumble, especially, like, I would like to roll that up the wall and just kind of keep possession until power-ups come up because it's just so deadly. But looks like Crispy has a chance here, and that's one thing you never want to do is disrupt a magnet user. But luckily, it works out for the other team. And Crispy can't do much with it. I actually want to go back a little bit to Crispy. See what he was thinking during this magnet play. So he taps it first to control the ball, which is very good. Now, like at this point, you should just go straight for the goal. For the magnet, like maybe not spikes, or maybe you probably do have to kind of do it for spikes because the duration's kind of short. But for magnet, just go towards the net and jump. That's really all you have to do with magnet. And generally, it's extremely hard for the defenders to save it because the ball will orbit around you or might bounce off of you, and it's extremely hard to save. And you want to make it as hard of a save as possible, and the best way to do that with the magnet is to be in the most open space possible, and that's in the air in the middle of the field. Once you're near a wall, then the ball is going to attract to the wall, but it can't orbit around you. So there's only so many places that ball can go. Makes it a little bit easier of a save now. Of course, the orange team, they use a grapple. That's like the perfect counter for magnet. Probably wouldn't have mattered too much there, but I would have liked to see him try and go more midfield. Now, of course, that grapple would have probably hurt them more because he went midfield, but still, I would still prefer that just to try and get that goal. Oh, good idea there. He was trying to time it or trying to like just get around it here to line up the haymaker shot, but he's turning the wrong way, and yeah, he just does it a little bit early. One thing that's always good with the haymaker is make sure the ball's going away from you or going to where you want it to go, and then use a haymaker. It's so much more powerful then. So he does that, and it's a pretty good play. Nice half flip too, or like somewhat of a half flip, but just barely doesn't go in. The plunger misses, and now might be going back the other way. He should be able to save this. Good save. Nice sacrifice there. Another plunger, but that plunger's not going to do a lot because the ball was going so incredibly fast the other way. Very similar to the haymaker. When the ball's going away from you, it doesn't do as much. The plunger has more pull and more power behind it, so the ball does go back towards blue side, but it's so slow that you're not going to surprise anyone on that play. Moving on here. Oh, the ball's coming down. I guess he barely touched it. I'm not sure what happened there. All right, Crispy. Another haymaker. The haymakers are great for defense when you're up late in the game. You can literally just sit on the goal line, and as long as it's not a super powerful shot. Actually, even if it's pretty powerful, the haymaker should probably cancel it out. There you go. Now he gets the haymaker goal. Just waiting this out, and the ball is coming back a little bit, but it's not much, and he's also moving forward. And I think, now I could be wrong here, but I think the momentum of the haymaker is also based on your movement. So if you're driving away from the ball, you're going to get a lot less power. So if you drive towards it and are going pretty fast, you actually get a lot more power on it as well. I haven't tested that theory necessarily, but from the Rumble games I've played, that's what I've noticed. All right, moving on here. Nice little center. It's a good idea. Oh, he almost gets there. Almost gets there. So many power-ups here. What is that? We had a plunger, a spike, some boots coming out, everything coming out. But orange, they get the goal. But as long as you are up by more goals than the amount of time divided by 10 seconds, if that makes sense. So if there's 30 seconds and you're up by 3, that's 3 power-up cycles that they get. Like, if you're up by more than that towards the end of the game, you're generally safe. Like, I would say there's kickoff goal opportunities, but in Rumble, I feel like comebacks can happen a lot just by that first wave of power-ups. So I think a good barometer is when you're playing a game is those last, like if you're down 2, once it's below 20 seconds, you're like, well, we're in deep trouble. Or like 25 seconds, because you want those 2 cycles of power-ups to try for a shot. But that's just general rule of thumb. And that's also when you start saving more defensive power-ups. Normally, like, I get rid of defensive power-ups almost all the time. But that's when you would start to get rid of them. Is when you need the goals, then you get rid of them right away. Or on the other side, I'm sorry, then you keep them. So like a freeze right there is actually a really good defensive move, and you can hold on to that for the majority of the game. Like when you're up by like 3 or 4 with a minute left, that's when you like really hold on to those. Same with haymaker, unless you can score. But there it is. The Rumble replay. I love doing sport modes replay analysis. If you guys have any, please hop over to Patreon and get signed up. It's a lot of fun to do. I hope you guys enjoy watching it, but that'll do it for me. Thank you, MistaEast, for the replay, and we'll see you guys next time. Later.